Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Madagascar, the country where the electricity grid plays hide and seek, the taps are drier than a politician's promises, and the youth are expected to sit in the dark and study economics, a subject they don't need textbooks to understand because, according to them, their life is a PhD in poverty. Now, let's be clear. This didn't happen overnight. 75% of Madagascar's 13 million people live below the poverty line. That's not just poverty. That's 3/4 of the island working hard just to qualify for the government's favorite export, despair. And only 36% have electricity. Not good electricity, mind you. No. We're talking unreliable electricity. The kind where when you flip a switch, the bulb laughs and says, "Today, you must be joking." So, when the hydroelectric dams dried up in the capital Antananarivo, the national utility company Jirama did what every great state-owned utility in Africa does. It collapsed spectacularly and asked the citizens to pay for the wreckage. Hours-long blackouts, water shortages, people bathing with anger, cooking with rage, and charging their phones using sheer indignation. And of course, as always, the government looked around, saw the chaos, and said, "Let's make it worse." That's when the youth, Generation Z, those kids born between 97 and 2012, who have Wi-Fi in their bloodstream, said, "Enough." They didn't call a press conference or write polite letters. They did what Gen Z does. They opened a Facebook page, Gen Z Madagascar. Within days, it had over 100,000 followers, including youth abroad, turning indignation into likes and likes into bodies on the streets. And the creativity, forget Che Guevara. These young people looked to Nepal and Indonesia and Kenya and said, "Anime will lead the revolution." They took a flag from Nepal's Gen Z protests, slapped a skull in Bestilio hat on it, and carried it as their banner. Nothing says down with the government like a skull wearing traditional headgear. On September 18, they marched. On September 25, they defied a ban, and the streets of Antananarivo filled with thousands. Students said, "We cannot study when the lights are out." Imagine trying to revise for an exam by candlelight while your government steals billions and your fridge holds only hope. The government's answer? Tear gas, rubber bullets, live ammunition. At least 5 people dead. In the land of lemurs and baobabs, students were shot for wanting to switch on a lamp. By September 25, President André Rajoelina, yes, the same Rajoelina who once ran a radio station before discovering the greater profitability of running a state, sacked his energy minister. Like that was the problem. "We will fix the power by cutting off one man's salary," he seemed to say. But when protesters didn't stop, Rajoelina dissolved the whole government on September 29. Gen Z replied, "Cute, now dissolve yourself." And here's the thing, these kids don't want ministerial sacrifices. They want the president's resignation, the Senate gone, the election commission gone, and the accountability for the debts. By October, the unrest was in its 5th day. Barricades across roads, politicians' homes attacked, 22 people dead. Though the government insisted these were rumors. Yes, in Madagascar, funerals are just gossip. The UN said 100 people were injured. Amnesty International condemned excessive force, but the students kept going in 6 cities, refusing Rajoelina's half-baked reforms. Online, they shared posts declaring themselves part of a global Gen Z wave. We are not alone. From Kenya to Nepal, from Indonesia to the Philippines, young people are done with corruption. Their anthem? Not Bob Marley, not Yuma Sekela. No. A pirate flag from One Piece. An anime. Imagine a dictator explaining to his grandchildren how he lost power because of a cartoon pirate with big eyes and spiky hair. This is where Madagascar stands. A president dissolving governments like their sugar and tea, a utility company that provides more excuses than kilowatts, and a generation that doesn't want to inherit the silence of their parents. The government calls them rebels. I call them electricians, because at the very least, they're trying to bring some light